Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of From Page to Stage. I'm your host, Wendy Corner, and this podcast is for you if you're an entrepreneur. Yes, an entrepreneur. I know we say page to stage, but let's think about it. If you're an entrepreneur, then you will have maybe a solo book, maybe an anthology book. You've possibly got a blog, but I can guarantee you're on socials, aren't you? What's that if it's not published work? Okay, we've ticked the box of being an author. What about a speaker, the stage bit? Now, you may be comfortable with standing on a raised platform with a microphone in your hand. You may think, oh, I could never do that. That's okay. Stages come in different flavors. If you can have a one-on-one conversation with somebody, you can do a podcast, just as we're doing now. Thought about that before? If you go to networking meetings, you are a speaker. If you go on virtual summits, you are a speaker. If you've been on a podcast, you are a speaker. Well done. Page, stage, great. Welcome aboard. Now, today I have the joy and pleasure of introducing to you Dr. Cheryl. She is a lady who is based in the US, and I know a little bit about her. We've been having a fabulous conversation about hair before we hit record. But you know what? She knows herself far better than I do. So over to you. Give us the cliff notes. How have you got to where you are today?
Sure. Thank you for having me on your platform and for the introduction. But for a little bit of a correction, I am Canadian, actually, not American.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've committed the cardinal sin.
It's all good. But yeah, so just to answer your question, how did I get to where I am? Okay. So like I mentioned, I'm Canadian, but I have a global trotting blood flowing through me. I was born in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in Canada. And I was about 2.5 years old when I left Winnipeg, went to Nigeria because my parents' background is Nigerian, spent part of my childhood there and all of my teen years in Qatar, which is in the Middle East. And then I came back to Canada as an adult, straight to university. So it's important to have a little bit about that background about myself as we continue with this topic. So yeah, how did I get to where I am right now? So professionally, Dr. Cheryl Okoli, DHA. I have a doctorate in health administration. And basically I cater to executives. I look at three main areas, if you will, in terms of consultation, advocacy, and empowerment. But the 5 areas I work with them are leadership, workforce development, organization culture and climate, forging partnerships, and last but not least, financial practices. And my main business is Shalom Eagles Wings. And yes, I'm a speaker as well. And one of my salient topics that I love to talk about is conflict resolution, okay? So I love to talk about conflict resolution, burnout, team building, activities, and so forth. On the creative side, right? Creative side, it has been said that all work and no play makes Jack or Jill a dull person, right? So I do have a creative side to me. And even though I've been an author of academic material, like for example, on conflict resolution, academically or professionally, when I use the word, I should say professionally. So even though I'm in the healthcare industry, my recent book on conflict resolution has been read by people outside of the healthcare industry. And from a more academic lens, yes, with my doctorate, my biggest work was my dissertation, honing in on conflict resolution in management in a burnout.
Did you have to have a viva for that to defend your dissertation?
Did I have to have what, sorry?
Sorry, a viva, a live experience, yes, with your tutors to defend.
I sure did.
In Canada, is it seen as defense of your dissertation?
Absolutely. But you know the most interesting thing, now I don't want to confuse anyone, but my doctorate is through an American school called university, I should say, called A.T. Still University. So my doctorate was pursued through this university, which was online. It's an online university. So coming back to your question, yes, I definitely had to defend. It was a live Zoom defense with the committee and attendees. And yes, I had to defend that. And it was nerve-wracking, but I'm so grateful. And so it was 2021 that I successfully defended and got that. So yes, absolutely. So
okay,
yeah.
audience, if you're not familiar with how particularly doctorates work, you write this dissertation and it's a big work. You've invested time and energy into this, and then you've got to actually defend it, as the term is.
That's
I know
correct.
this is the term in the UK. I was checking whether it was still the same across the pond. So you actually have to do a viva or a live presentation, and they ask you questions. And your dissertation, your degree, your doctorate can be, well, is influenced by how well you perform. So how's that for really upping the ante? Please do carry on, Dr. Cheryl.
Oh, no worries. So yeah, so thank you. So, but it's funny you bring that up. So if anyone is interested, just type in my name and you can access my dissertation. It's over 100 pages long, but it's worth every read. I'm a tad biased, obviously, but it's worth every read. If you're in leadership, management, or executive level, I'm sure you can glean some insightful gems from it. So yes. So
okay, what we'll do, audience, is we'll take the link and we'll put this in the show notes. So do have a look at the show notes. You'll be able to find all the links to Cheryl's work in the show notes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're the first person that will do that, actually. So thank you very much, actually. I'm impressed. So yeah, so I was saying the whole old adage about all work and no play makes Jack or Jill a dull person. So I have a creative side to me, and along the lines of writing, my first ever fictional book, I'm honored and humbled, was published August 15th of this year. And it's called The Lore, The Light. And it's all about purpose and self-discovery and identity.
So this is a novel, almost allegorical, probably even parabolic. So you've got some stories in there that are going to get you to think things through, almost like a moral to the tale type thing. Is that where you're going with this one?
That's correct. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And
okay.
I bet you, each of us listening right now, or that will listen whenever, you can find yourself in one of the characters. Yes. Okay. So it starts off, it's very short. It's an audiobook, just about, audio. Yes, audio. It's not just any audiobook. Just a musical score accompanied with it. And I collaborated with an American actually. He did a musical score for me. And he's not just any musician. We met in a community whereby we're creating our own movie and so forth. So anyway, that's how our paths crossed, and he agreed to do the musical score. So it's just an hour and 5 minutes long. The audiobook from start to finish, 5 short chapters. And the first chapter is more abstract, sort of, but then it builds. So hang in there, just keep listening. Yeah, I did things a little bit backwards in the sense that most people write and then have an audio, but I felt a strong nudge. It needs to be in audio format. And yes.
Okay. So are you publishing it on paper as well?
I will.
Okay.
I will. Indeed.
Do you have a date that you've got in mind for that?
Not yet, but this audiobook has been published.
Right. Are you narrating it?
I'm the author, I'm the narrator, and then it has a musical score that the composer, Mr. Sean E. Donoghue, did. So it's already published as of August 15th. It's on various platforms all over online, a plethora of audiobooks platforms right now. So it's out there. But
an audience, link will be in the notes.
Yes, but the good news, and thank you for inviting me here, is that I will be having a face-to-face live lunch here in Beaumont, Alberta, where I reside, on November 9th. It's a Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'm going to be having a lunch of this.
Is
And
that to launch the physical book?
it is to launch, it's kind of like to raise awareness as well.
I would suggest that you aim to have your physical book there, because then you've got something they can literally take away.
I will try and see if that will be possible. It's ready to go, but
Well then, what's stopping you?
good point. But then the other thing though, what I wanted to mention though, part of that physical book launch, there's going to be a book signing as well. The signing will be on my book on conflict resolution. Okay.
Okay. Not at the same event.
Same event.
Oh, confusion. The audience wants to know one thing.
Okay.
If you put two things in there, they're going to go, oh, hang on, which one? I would suggest that you focus on one and one only. This is me doing a little bit of unrequested coaching. Okay. As far as the marketing is concerned, a confused audience is a no audience. So if you're there to promote your audio book, I suggest you have the written book with you and have that as your signing, that as your launch. You can do another book signing for the other book, the conflict resolution. Sorry, I'll get my teeth in. The conflict resolution on another day, and you can talk about that when you do this wonderful audio/book launch for your novel. Yeah. Do you know what? I've also got some really helpful other stuff. This is what I've got coming up. I know you've got a ready audience.
Yes, but you know what? This is a strategy too.
Oh, you've got a strategy.
I have a strategy. Everything you said is very useful, and normally that's what I would do, but there's a strategy. What is a strategy? The strategy is, remember, or maybe I should say remember, I am new to this town. It's part of promoting who I am, what I do, or what I have to offer. With the conflict book, and audience, please, I don't mean to confuse you. The rationale for the conflict book is this, though, that 10% of all the sales and proceeds go to a local charity. There's a reason why this is being done in November as well. Even though I wanted to do it in December, by December is extremely busy. People are purchasing different things. And guess what? November was the date that was suggested, and it just happened to be that this particular date is all she had. When I say she, the local bookstore owner had to offer me. So that's part of the strategy for the two things. But
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for
No
sharing.
worries, yes.
And also, obviously, you're going to have an online launch, aren't you? Because otherwise you're keeping your tail very much to the people in the room. And as we know,
absolutely, yes.
You've got a global audience here.
That's right. So a very good point. So I have someone I'm talking about social marketing right now. I just was doing a reel for promotion for both books, actually, and with the local bookstore owner doing her own marketing as well. So yes. Well,
it's going to be a fabulous session. I do hope somebody's going to record your talk. That's something, if you haven't already thought about it, get
Which
somebody.
talk are you referring to?
The talk that you're doing for the book launch. Oh,
okay. So no, what I was saying is that I recorded a reel. Well, I already recorded something that'll be used as reels for promotion. So when you said record my talk, I wasn't sure which other talk you meant.
When you're there on the day.
Oh, gotcha, the day of. Yeah, that'll be.
And you're describing what you're doing, because you will have your book there. You can physically hold the book in your hand and read out beautiful tasters, teasers, if you will.
That'll be awesome. Yes. Yes.
And then you watch the queue just go, oh, hang on, where's this book? How can I get hold of it?
And
open those loops and let them come to you.
Yeah, splendid idea. Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, that's a good
You're
reminder.
welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay, so we've talked about kind of where you're at the moment. I want to take you back. When did your writing begin? As I said, not the ABC, because we're all roughly about the same age when that happens. But when did you start really getting involved with writing and enjoying it and finding pleasure and creativity in it?
Oh my goodness. Well, when you talk about writing, I think of two things. I think about academic writing, and I think of creative. So which of the two are you referring to?
Oh, well, the academic is so rigid, and that can knock the creativity out of you, can't it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the creative stuff.
The creative, well, I'll say let's put it this way. Even though I might not have penned my creativity on paper, I've always had it in my mind mentally for the longest time. But like I mentioned, this is my first official work. So I will say.
But you've written your business books. To a certain extent, those are creative as well, aren't they?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Taking
Yes. Okay, so thank you.
your wisdom and putting it on paper.
Oh, okay.
One of the questions I'm getting to is, have you, as a child, did you journal? Did you have a diary? Is this something
yes. Okay,
expressed yourself on paper?
Okay, yes. As a child, now this one you are not prepared to hear. So my creative writing I was journaling, but guess what I used to journal? My dreams.
Good.
My nighttime dreams.
Mm.
And why bring that up? Because right now, so since my teenage years, I used to journal my nighttime dreams. My dad was inspiration behind that. Why? Because he began to recognize not only was I a dreamer, but things I would dream about would happen in real life. So the reason why I bring that up is people don't understand that even the dream language is full of metaphors, play on words, very creative. So that's kind of a little kind of twist and answer to your question. But even though I had that as a teenager, now as an adult, I went through this journey whereby I have studied dream interpretation, and I'm helping people by the grace of God, because I won't take credit for this gifting, to help counsel them in their dreams. So that would be the extent, I would say, of me actually writing down. I don't remember myself. I could be wrong, but I sense vaguely I might have written one or two short stories, but I don't want to quote anything that's incorrect. But
that's how you started.
I'm going back to your question. So my professional book that I first wrote would have been 2010.
Okay.
2010, I had an article actually that got published. I didn't know there was an award associated with that. And it was, internationally published as well. And then, so the article first, and then a book in 2011. And then the revised version was what I was talking about, that I'll be publishing and launching again for books. Right. Yeah, it was revised in 2021, and now
so that's the thing, isn't it? Because a lot of people have gone, well, I've just started writing, and I'm going, really? Let's take you back a bit, because then you can see the genesis of your creativity and realize that actually I've been writing quite a long time. Beautiful, thank you. Well, let's move on to your speaking journey. When did you start speaking? Some people I don't know whether this is the case. Hang on, you did high school in Qatar?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, I have no idea about the system. I'm assuming it was an international school?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have presentations to do as part of your curriculum?
Trying to remember.
Because I know that that's the case in the US, and I believe it's the case in Canada. It certainly wasn't the case in the UK.
You know, I don't remember anything vaguely, to be honest with you. I really don't remember any formal presentations per se. There might have been, but honestly, nothing stands out at me. I remember doing something related to the United Nations. I know we had this quiz and tests about the United Nations. So we might have had a presentation, I don't remember. But going back to speaking again, it's funny. Let's even go back in high school. I remember being in my room, just talking, and there was no one else there. It was like people, I'm just sharing knowledge and answering what I deemed or imagined people were asking me. So I was like, what's this all about? And even back in middle school and stuff, not even middle school, nursery school, I remember one of my report cards said, she works well with her peers, but she should learn to speak less. So right there, these were all pointing to the gift of the gab, a knack for words. So my former presentations, I would say more so would have been in university. This would have been when I came back to Canada. I remember having talks on visualization, presentation, team assignments, and what I'm about to share right now, you're going to be floored about it. So here we are talking about visualization, a team assignment. And when it came to my turn, guess what happened? I passed out. People thought I was acting. I was not acting.
Oops.
So talking about really enacting what you're presenting about visualization. But anyway, so it's just interesting memories. But my formal speaking would have been mostly in the professional world.
Yeah.
So whenever I had an opportunity to educate my team or my department, I'll share something at an in-service, for instance. This would have been during when I worked in the operating room, for instance. I would share a topic. Guess what? Conflict resolution, or on uterine fibroids, because that's another clinical passion I'm about. And then other presentations would be in the community environment, workshops, again, raising public awareness about different things like uterine fibroids. And then on a global platform right now, I'm blessed to have this platform called The Dancing Negotiator. I'm a TV host. And the platform is Win-Win Women. So kudos.
Oh, yeah.
Win Women. So I present there weekly on this platform. And yeah.
So, Vicky, I'm backtracking for a minute. So I know your background is in health administration. Are you also qualified in terms of, I'm hearing obs and gynae in there. What I call obs and gynae, I know is OB/GYN for the North American market. So is that where your training has come from? Or is it a special interest, or how does that work?
So very good question. So let me backtrack then. So Dr. Cheryl Okoli, DHA. So my doctorate is in health administration, but I have a clinical background of over 20 years of healthcare experience. So during my journey, I have what's called advanced practice I'm an advanced practice nurse. So in Canada, in Canada, there are two foundational advanced practice roles a nurse can have. Either as a nurse practitioner or a clinical nurse specialist. I don't know if you're familiar with nurse practitioner. So I was along the journey of proceeding to be a nurse practitioner, and I focused at the time on women's health. Okay.
Got it.
But I didn't get the certificate for a nurse practitioner, but that was what my focus was then. So I have all the knowledge and expertise. And when I started my business, Shalom Eagles Wings, two main focus: clinically, women's health on uterine fibroids, and administratively, leadership, conflict resolution. So that's where that passion came in. And I did research when I got a chance to do research on uterine fibroids, meeting with academia and medical facilities to incorporate early screening in uterine fibroids, because I believe that early detection leads to early intervention, leads to decreased suffering. So that's part of my advocacy. So when I mentioned earlier about Shalom Eagles Wings being about consultation, advocacy, and empowerment, so that's kind of like the part of my advocacy as well as my consultation.
Okay.
So let's work on that as well. Yeah.
Audience, if we've got any gentlemen in the room, don't just turn your ears off at this point, because there's a high chance that one of the women in your life, particularly as they age a little bit, will experience some of these horrible, very painful growths in their womb. Okay. So please don't turn this off and go, oh, it's not for me, it's not for me. Your awareness will go a long way to supporting if you have a woman in your life who is going through this particular experience. So thank you for your time and attention. On that note, though, Cheryl, is your work primarily aimed at women?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. That's just the clinical lens. Well, uterine fibroids is something that affects women, but like I love what you just shared with everyone, because what affects a woman affects every member of the family and society. So no, I work with both male and female. I do not discriminate in terms like that. Yes. So
yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. So this is where you're at in terms of your speaking career. So there's keynotes in there, there's workshops in there. You're doing both of those things because, audience, when we spoke at the beginning and said about different stages, there are different styles as well. The way you speak as a keynote is different to the way you speak as a workshop, is different to the way you speak as an MC. There are lots of different flavors within that. So it's finding your niche, whichever you prefer to say. Okay, lovely. So we've looked at your writing journey, and you're republishing the conflict resolution book, and you've published this novel this year. Whoa. I'm going to ask you, have you got anything else bubbling?
Ooh, wow. Yes, there is something that I have to work on. So especially with my dissertation, I feel like I need to bring it down into biteable sizes.
Yep.
And make it not so academic for everyone to glean. So in due time, I'm going to have something coming up. Yeah. And about
posted. Keep us posted.
Yes, I will. Thank you. And for this book, as much as this was start to finish, there's no sequel. I believe this will not be the end of me picking up my creative pen.
Okay, so you're going to carry on doing both the novel work, the fiction work, and the non-fiction?
Absolutely.
Got it. And I'm suspecting that your fiction work will still maintain that thread of self-help and parabolic
self-discovery and self-identity. Yes. And love.
Beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Well, again, audience, once Cheryl has put this out, she'll let me know, and we'll do a quick blast on socials. The show notes will be changed, and we'll maybe have her in again for the next exciting installment of Dr. Cheryl Okoli.
Yeah.
And
thank you for the holy part. I'm not that holy, but thank you. Olivier is holy.
Yeah, well, forgive me. I'm here in Mexico and trying to learn how the different letters sound in Spanish.
Well, you know what? Guess what? Imagine I'm Irish. Imagine you just have an apostrophe beside my O, Okoli. I kid you not. Some people have thought I was Irish. I'm like, wait till you see me. I meet up with them. Anyway. So there, that makes it easy for you.
Okay, Okoli, got it. Beautiful. Audience, what I'm saying is we will make sure that Cheryl's author page is up on the show notes as well. So keep an eye on that, and you can go back and check all the different work that she's done and go buy the books and listen to the audios. Beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so we've looked at your speaking journey, we've looked at your writing journey, and I'm going to ask you, how do you embody your words when you take them from page to stage?
How do I embody my words? Elaborate, clarify the question, please.
Well, some people, when I've asked this question, and you had this question ahead of time, some people will go, I will visualize, I will show myself to be in the moment, I live my words. There are various different ways of interpreting it. So I'm asking you what your interpretation of embodying your words, because you've got them written down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And when you take them to a stage,
yeah,
what do you do? What's the process? that means that you can deliver those words from stage, whatever stage happens to be.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Okay, first and foremost, visualization takes place. So from my creative...
Without the fainting.
Yes, that's right.
Sorry.
I also think, okay, first and foremost, I'm like, I know what I want to present and share, but how do I engage my audience? What will make it interactive? Because as much as I'm going to share things and they're going to jot notes, I always want to leave them with something salient that they can take away. Be it a mnemonic of some sort, they can take away and be like, that's it. Or incorporate dance. I'm creative. I'm not just all about writing. I love to dance. So sometimes I incorporate dance moves for a mnemonic or a concept. That's a good takeaway. So that's how I take it from the written, if you will, to my stage. What is the tangible thing that they'll never forget?
Yes.
Listening.
Being remembered for all the right reasons.
Yes.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Have you got any video footage of you doing your dancey stuff alongside what you're speaking?
Yes, actually, I do. I'm honored to have been a guest on a podcast called Real Talk.
Okay.
And I was talking about the 5 A's of conflict resolution with twist. And the twist was me discussing what they were with a dance move to remember what the 5 A's of conflict resolution mnemonics were. So that shows just a little glimpse. But again, that's a virtual stage, which will be
have you got a link that you can share with us? You see, the thing is, you're introducing a concept which is pretty much novel to most of the people who will be listening to and watching this.
Sure,
it's a visual thing as well. So I'd love for you to share that.
Okay.
Audience, this is a first. What Cheryl is doing here is she's sharing with us the audio, the visual, and the kinesthetic. A wonderful way to make sure that these concepts are anchored into our brains. I love it, Cheryl. This is fantastic. So I'm excited to look at this myself.
Excellent. I will share.
Beautiful. Love it. And as we're winding up, are there any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah. All I would like to say is this. If you do not know what your purpose on earth is, try to find out. And some of you might say, you know what? I know what my purpose is, but my environment or my socioeconomic factors or political or religious doesn't enable me to live out my purpose. I want to encourage you to not feel discouraged, and also be on the lookout for destiny helpers. There could be 1 or 2 people that might come along your path to help you identify and achieve your purpose. Or you can use the word destiny. Be humble to say yes and receive it.
Oh, yes.
Once you know what your purpose is, you feel anchored in this world, you have direction, and you'll be happier and joyful. Not even just the word happier, more joyful and more self-fulfilled. That's what I would like to leave with the audience. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. And as you say, the mentors, the people who walk into your life, be open to hear their voice and take the action.
And one thing to the mentors, again, here's where humility comes in as well. They might even be younger than yourself. They might look different from you. Yes. That's part of the humility as well. Yeah. But have an open mind that your destiny helper can come in the shape or form you never even imagined or fathomed. So just be open to that. Yes,
that's a very good point. Thank you very much for reiterating that, because yeah, I'm going to take a notice of somebody with a doctorate. I'm going to take a notice of somebody from my socioeconomic group or somebody higher. This kid's got a really good idea, and you're thinking, really? Well, actually, yes, be teachable, be open. Taking what's given to you. Oh, Cheryl, thank you so much. That's been fabulous. Thank you for sharing your from page to stage.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. I appreciate the honor.
For now, bye from us.
Bye.